The Vulnerable Hero podcast begins now. Hi everyone, I'm Mack, and welcome to another episode of The Vulnerable Hero, where I define vulnerability as having the courage to experience love in its purest form. Vulnerability is courageous. Being vulnerable is being someone who acknowledges that it's scary, it's fearful, it's uncomfortable, and yet goes through the process anyway. Because love is on the other side of vulnerability. And truly what you are seeking, doesn't matter what you think you're seeking, what you really want, what every soul really wants, what we really want as human beings is to be loved. Is to experience the unconditional love that is available and ready for us to receive at all times. And in order for us to receive the love that we so crave, it takes us to become vulnerable, to take our masks off, drop our walls, stop seeking things that no longer serve our truest self, and receive the love that is available. And I don't mean this esoteric thought. I mean literally like oxygen is in the air. Love is the fabric of the universe. The universe is expanding faster than the speed of light. The seasons regenerate. Everything is in a constant giving state. And love in Hebrew means ahava. You've heard me say this before. And so love is always, and ahava means to give. So love is always giving. And in order for you to receive that which gives, you must drop your walls and create space to receive. That's why vulnerability is the courage to experience love in its purest form, because love is waiting for you to open up your arms, drop your walls, become vulnerable, open the door to your heart, and simply surrender so that you can receive love. Today, what I want to talk about on this podcast episode, it's going to be a shorter episode, but I want to be very poignant. Whatever you are doing in life, whatever you're working for, whatever you are striving for, whatever position you are wanting to obtain, whatever monetary value you want to achieve, whatever it is, without love, it means nothing. I know someone who had a $70 million company and was doing incredibly well. I mean, on the outside, we all looked at this person like, you're winning in life. And this is when I was very early in business. I was 27 years old. And I looked at that as success. But I remember this mentor of mine said, unless you put being a father or a husband first, and then a father second, and career third, everything will fall apart. And I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, that sounds nice, but I don't really believe it. Well, a year later, that guy that we all looked at as being incredibly successful, his wife left him. And because his wife left him, he focused on that, and his business eventually fell apart, and his life was in ruins. And the lesson that I took from that is, because he didn't have things in right order, in right priority, everything fell apart. Even though what he thought he wanted, he achieved. But in reality, what he really wanted was to be loved, to be validated, to be seen, to be known, to be approved, to be told he's good enough, to be told he's strong enough, safe enough. He's enough. And unfortunately, many men put their validation into business because it's an easy check mark. How much do you make? How many employees do you have? How big is your company? How many locations do you have? What do you do for work? All these check marks, these data sets that do not affirm the humanity that we all live with every single day. And unless we are willing to drop the walls and acknowledge that it doesn't matter how much money I ever make, it will never satiate my innate desire to be loved, we will continue to put wood into a fire that never will say it's enough. A fire saith not, it is enough. It never is enough. Fires are never satisfied. You can't put one piece of wood into a fire and expect that fire to burn forever. You cannot put all your time, energy, and effort into validating yourself through business and what you do in the world as a means and ever feel validated by those means. The only way to live a life that you feel safe and secure, loved and known in your present state is to first become vulnerable. And that doesn't necessarily mean with other people. It's with you and you. To finally stop lying to yourself about how good and smart and all these things that your ego has built up as you are, but get to the truth of yourself. Are you hurting? Are you confused? Are you scared? Are you depressed? Do you have anxiety? Are you abusing substances to numb yourself? Are you living a duality? Are you caught up in rage and anger? Are you caught up in codependency with other people? Are you not standing in your own pure essence of your own humanity? Getting vulnerable starts with being vulnerable with yourself, to take the mask off. Let me ask you, when was the very first time, now think of this, when was the very first time you put your mask on? What happened in that scenario? How old were you? What was done to you? Was it a bully at school? Was it a parent that abused you? Was it someone else? What happened to you at what point in your life where you decided to put a mask and armor on yourself to protect the true essence of yourself? And what has happened since? And what happened to the innocence? I believe the innocent child in all of us is still with us, but not residing in us until we take our mask off and create room for that innocence to come back inside of us. Sadly, though, we forgot our innocence. We forgot the essence of our being in this world, and we went with the mask and armor to validate that this mask and armor is so strong that no one will ever penetrate it, no one will ever hurt it, no one can ever hurt me. But in reality, all we are doing is hurting ourselves, carrying a load that we weren't intended to carry in the first place, and trying to prove to people who do not matter at all in our lives that we are good enough, strong enough, smart enough, wise enough, enough. And guess what? It's never enough. The only way to get back to the place of your true self, to experience the love that you want and will satiate every need that you have, to experience your true self in this present moment, is to take your mask off with yourself, look in the mirror, and face all the pain that you've ever experienced. And then put words to it. What happened? What happened? Writing it out or thinking it is not enough. Those are beneficial for sure, but they're not enough. You have to speak it audibly. You have to speak it out loud. You have to scream it out if need be, but you must break through that glitch, that filter, that veil, that curtain that tries to keep it in and push through. That is being vulnerable. And audibly share and not let judgment or guilt or shame or someone's opinion or someone's disagreement or someone's argument stop you from your own personal freedom. I don't care if someone completely disagrees with your own experience and they were there when it happened. It's your experience. Your soul is on your journey, its own journey in this world, and it will not answer to anyone else in this world. It will not answer to any other person on this planet. It will not answer to another soul. You must answer to yourself and free yourself. There is an epidemic in our society of the facade, the mask, and it is ridiculous. And I'm going to ask you, how much longer are you willing to go? And possibly like he wasn't really my friend, just a guy I knew that we all observed. At $40 million, his revenue, his company, was that enough to finally focus on his family? Was 50 million, 60 million? When he got to 70 million, everything fell apart. Yeah, he was a multi-millionaire, but who cares? When you lost everything, you lose everything. How much longer are you willing to go? And how much are you willing to gamble? The fact is, and I've said this before, I will say it again because it needs to be said. The suicide rate is higher than it's ever been. Ever. Our veterans, there was just a report that came out, I think by the Veterans Affairs Council, that the veterans in the past 10 years have killed themselves at a rate unprecedented in U.S. history. And I look at this as the majority of men who have sought all avenues of validation and yet did not stop. Take the mask off and scream out in vulnerability that I need help, that I'm not strong, I'm not doing well, I'm struggling right now, I need support, I need other brothers to walk with me, I need my wife to understand me, I need my children to not think that I'm perfect because I'm not perfect. This is something that I think we need to talk about right now. If you are a father, please do not teach that you are perfect. Do not show that you are perfect. Teach your children that you are imperfect, that there is no one perfect, and that we are all imperfect people. That way you don't get trapped in the facade and the mask and the armor, where you feel validated by their view of your perfection, which is a lie in the first place. And that's usually what happens, not just with our children, but with our spouses, our partners, our friends, our coworkers, our employees, our in society. We get trapped by the facade of perfection, and perfection does not exist. I want you to be free. And guess what? You want yourself to be free. We want the same thing. I want the same thing for you, your freedom. And your freedom resides on the other side of vulnerability. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. Being trapped in the facade of perfection is one of the most dangerous aspects of our coexistence on this earth, because no one is perfect. But yet when we judge against this facade of perfection, it traps and isolates each of us. So if you're a father, do not teach that you're perfect. Do not get validation from your children for your own hurt. Go into yourself, liberate your own soul, and stand in the place of love and vulnerability for others to liberate their own souls, be it your children, be it your spouse, be it your friends, be it your coworkers, be it your employees, your employer. When you do this, for instance, I've done this. I do it every day. Then you get to do it. And when you do it, someone else will do it. And when they do it, someone else will do it. And the positive ripple effect will truly change society. Be the change you want to see. Mahatma Gandhi, one of the most profound quotes that has ever been uttered out of mankind. Be the change you want to see. I know you want to see change, and I know you want to be validated. I know you want to be affirmed. I know you want to feel secure. I know you want to make money. I know you want to be successful. And guess what? All those things will come as a result of you finally being in the place of love and vulnerability and no longer striving for validation. All those things will be added unto you when you truly stop and surrender your ego, your armor, your facade, your mask, and truly drop your walls to receive love and breathe it in. And breathe it in. This is my desire for you. This is what this podcast is about. Prioritizing that which is most healthy for you. And guess what? What's most healthy for you is most healthy for others. So if you want to heal society, it begins with healing yourself. And that's why I'm here with you. That's why this podcast exists. To sometimes call forth in a direct way like this podcast, sometimes to bring questions up. But this is that third space. It's not home and it's not work. It's the third space I hope you can digest and chew on and dialogue with me right now in this conversation so that you can then become free. Because I desire your freedom. I'm proud of you guys for listening. I'm thankful for all of you in this journey. There are such amazing things ahead. Do not let the media, politics, or the media about politics stir you up. Don't let others' narratives trap you in fish bowls inside the ocean. I'm going to talk more about this in upcoming episodes, but don't let others' narratives trap you inside fish bowls inside the ocean. Be free. Liberate yourself and no longer be trapped by the confines of a narrative that you are not enough, because you are. You just must free yourself in order to know that. Oh, thank you for listening. My name is Lucas Mack. This is the Vulnerable Hero podcast, where I define vulnerability as having the courage to experience love in its purest form. Men, if you want to go to the next level, if you want to work with me, if you want to step into your own personal power and freedom and liberation, there's a few ways you can do so. Number one, I host men's retreats. I have 5 spots left. We have 1 person signed up. There's only 6 total. 5 spots left for the next retreat. The dates are posted on my website, lucasmack.com/retreats. You have to go to both weekends. There's weekly accountability group calls every week between the 90 days, the 2 weekends. We'll have a legacy life plan. You will know the legacy that you want to leave in this world. You will have a personal mission statement. You will have a brotherhood. And more importantly, you will receive love and know vulnerability and get your voice like you have never gotten before. So if you're interested, go to my website and sign up and apply to be part of this. And number 2, coaching. If you need someone, if you want to work with me and have a weekly or a monthly call, sign up as well. Apply for that. I have limited space with clients, but I work with men consistently. I have men that I talk to and help, and we put together a plan and work through what vulnerability truly is. And then once you become vulnerable, what leadership truly is, what having a voice truly is, what being a hero truly is. Because it's the Vulnerable Hero podcast. It's not just about vulnerability. It's about being a hero, but you cannot be a hero until you first learn vulnerability. So sign up on my website if you're interested in that. And as always, thank you for listening. Please like, rate, and share this podcast. Download, subscribe, spread the word. Because the movement that is taking place is a movement for all people. Gay, straight, trans, black, white, whatever label, truly, whatever label that exists out there, this podcast is for us all. So I'm honored to walk this journey with you and know you are not alone and you can be free. And the freedom starts with vulnerability. I'm Lucas Mack, and I'll talk to you on the next episode.